Hello, this is a short video for those practitioners in Year 1 and 2, feeling a little bit unsure about going back tomorrow and what the week will look like for their phonics teaching and how they're going to gain an understanding of where the children are at and where we need to pick up from. Now, in an ideal world, I'll be honest with you, my Year 1 and my Year 2 provision would be very similar to that child-led, child-centred approach that I have in my early years classroom. And whilst some of us are very lucky to be able to take that practice into Year 1, I'm fully aware that there are lots of Year 1 and Year 2 settings that have a more formal approach. So I want to help you too, and I want to give you an idea about what I would do if I was in a Year 1 and Year 2 classroom in the next few weeks, how I'd gain an understanding of where they're at with their phonics. Now, it's really important to think first of all about why we're teaching children phonics in the first place. Now, clearly it's to teach them how to read and how to write. It's not about teaching the children a group of phoneme and grapheme correspondences and then assessing whether they can look at the grapheme on a piece of paper and tell you what the phoneme is. So the flashcard type assessments are by no means the most important indicator of how a child is developing and where we need to move to next. Actually, the most important thing with phonics is their ability to apply this to their writing and to their reading. So let's not get sidetracked by the fact that they can look at a grapheme and know the phoneme. That's brilliant, but actually it's whether they're applying it to their reading and writing that really is the most important thing. So how are we going to gain a sense of whether children are able to do that? Well, first of all, you're going to have to listen to them reading, and you're going to have to listen to them reading books that they've never seen before. Because we're all aware that children will go home and practice reading with their parents, which is brilliant, we want them to do that. But then if we're assessing the children's reading ability on books that they've taken home and rehearsed and practiced, we're not getting a true sense of what the children are actually able to do when they are decoding words. So we need to make sure that we have lots of really non-stressed time listening to children read a book that they've never read before, or a piece of text they've never read before, and actually sharing the reading with the children. So don't let them do the whole book if they're one of those children who's lacking in confidence. You read a page, let them read a page. That will give you a good idea about where the children are at in their ability to apply their phonemic awareness to the skill of reading. And that's essentially why we're teaching them those phoneme grapheme correspondences in the first place. The second thing you need to gauge is how they are applying all of that knowledge to their writing. Because whilst it's brilliant that they can recall what a grapheme looks like when they hear the phonemes within words, we need to know in Year 1 and 2 how they are then actually applying this to their writing. So how can you assess this in a really non-pressured way? I would make sure that you are keeping it as fun as possible, and whilst I have said already that my ideal scenario would actually be getting them to do this in their child-led learning, I'm aware that not all settings can do that. So giving them 10-minute challenges where you ask them to write something based on a video clip or an image that will get your cohort really excited. So potentially, whilst you're going to be having lots of well-being and resettling activities going on in your classrooms this week, you could give the children a 10-minute writing session each day where they look at an image or a stimulus of some kind and write absolutely anything they like. They might like writing stories, they might like writing news reports or poems, it doesn't matter. The thing that matters is that they are writing, and they're writing for the whole 10 minutes if possible, if they're able to do that. And then you will gauge an idea of what it is they are able to do in terms of applying their phoneme knowledge to their writing. So there's some great websites out there like Literacy Shared and Pobble 365 where you can just show them an image and get the children excited about writing. Make them aware that you are not going to be looking at it and marking it as such, so they're not feeling stressed about it. The most important thing I would do then as a class teacher is go and observe the children writing, go and watch them actually involved in that physical process of applying all of the knowledge they have in their head to their writing. Watching children get it from their head and onto paper is by far one of the best ways we can assess how well they're applying their phoneme knowledge to writing. So I've got an image on here, just turn the screen for you. So I've got an image on here of a moon landing, and this might really excite and engage some of your children. So when you show this image, you can get the children to just look at it and think and spot things, and you might ask them questions, rhetorical ones where you don't require an answer, just to get them thinking about what they can see. So maybe then they might want to write a story from the perspective of one of the astronauts who's just landed on the moon, or maybe they just want to write a descriptive piece about what they can see. It's not actually at this point that you're thinking about the structure of what they have written or the vocab they have used. It's actually just allowing you to see how they are applying all of their phoneme and grapheme knowledge to writing. So it's that you're assessing. I would do that over the week, maybe even 2, depending on the size of your class, and I would watch the children write as much as you can. And then you will gain a true sense of what they are actually applying to their reading and writing and how you can take this learning forward. Have a great week, first week back, enjoy those children, and most importantly, just make sure that you're all feeling happy to be back at school.